it be our own customers or other digital customers, try to put workflows together that are a little bit more dental technician, dental prosthesis friendly, so that we can actually encourage people to take that first step into the digital world, into the transformation of denture manufacturing. The one thing that we've done with Kulzer is we've managed to have a real end-to-end system. So I think we're the only company that have everything in one house. That means we start in the clinic with the impression materials or the capture. So whether that's a conventional impression and capture or intraoral capture, and right the way through the manufacturing on back into the clinic. So we are really end to end. You're only dealing with one company and one application for many different smile applications. What we're going to look at tonight is one in particular that's become a favourite of the people who we've received feedback from, and that's the immediate denture, and how we can also bring that into a normal denture, utilising some of our current skills and some of the current materials that we might want to just hang on a little bit longer with. So just bear with me as we flip from screen to screen. We're going to just jump into a PowerPoint and do a little bit of background information. So I'm going to share this. Okay, so hopefully everybody can see that. So we're talking about application-based solutions and the workflows and some of the facts about the workflows. A 3D printing market, it's been around for a really long time, and it's now coming more and more into dentistry. It's not new, but it's quite new to dentures and to our work groups. Smart Tech Dental Report 2019 says that at the moment, we really have a very big lab component for manufacturing prosthetic appliances or medical devices, dental devices. But it also estimates that by 2027, most of the work will be at the point of care. That means that machinery and software and artificial intelligence will be such that you can actually manufacture the devices at the chair side. One interesting fact from that Smart Tech 2019 is that Australasia, the APAC, will probably grow the fastest. And that's probably because we're a little bit behind the rest of the world in this digital transformation. So we can probably expect to have quite a rapid take-up and growth for our area of Australia and New Zealand. There's obviously a lot of fake news and a lot of hype and sell. And, you know, some of the fake news is that all 3D printed denture materials are TGA or FDA approved for specific indications. That's not necessarily true. 3D printed dentures are only good for short-term use, so 30 to 90 days. That's also not true, and that's mostly 2 or 3 main manufacturers have now got denture bases and materials that are long-term permanent use and have all the legislative approvals for that. Only FDA materials need to be approved. That's not true. Materials are not the only thing that needs to be approved, and we can talk about that a little bit later on. And that's about, in this 3D printing world, digital world, the processes also need to be approved. For us, it's TGA. All 3D printers are the same? Well, we know that's not true because some people like myself who are early adapters have bought 3D printers that now, only 2 years down the track, are obsolete. So all 3D printers are not the same. 3D printing does not need maintenance. Tell me that this morning at 6 o'clock, because it does need maintenance just like any other equipment, you need to have some maintenance skills. You need to know how your machine works, from simple things like taking out the filters in the fans at the back and cleaning them, and just general care. Cleanliness is a big issue for 3D printing, so you have to be on the mark with cleanliness. I can choose the fastest indication to print regardless of the material. It's also fake because every material has its own set parameters. Every material has its own DME file, which is a file that tells the printer what material it is and how to print it. And as technicians, we all try to bend the rules for mixing resins to achieve a certain shade or a different outcome. Well, it's not really acceptable because each shade may have a different opacity or translucency, and the file that cures that particular type of material is different from the other. So if you mix it, you haven't mixed the file to actually cure the resin. So some parts of the resin could possibly be uncured. Uses of 3D print material outside of its designated use is okay if it's approved by TGA or FDA. No, it's not, because it's designed for a specific use through a specific process for a specific purpose. And that's the interesting thing now about the way that we're moving forward for legislation and regulation in our industry. Again, not just materials, not just denture base. If you think at the moment we can buy a denture base that has TGA approval, and we can flash pack and finish that any way we want. There's no rules, there's no legislation, there's no guidelines. Manufacturers provide them, but you switch from one to the other. With 3D print, that's not going to happen. That's not going to be allowed. You'll have to follow a specific process for that manufacturer, or a process that that manufacturer has aligned with. So all our processes are approved by the TGA regulations. So all our workflows, all our materials meet the regulations as set out by Australian TGA. It's not just products, it's the whole process, all the equipment, the whole chain from the beginning to the end. That's in laboratory and at point of care. So that's whether you're a dental laboratory manufacturing devices, or whether you're actually a dentist making something at a point of care. What does our system look like, and what does it actually have involved? So if you look here, we have our scanner. One thing I like about this scanner is it's quite unique on the market that it already has a computer built inside it. So any of you guys who are familiar with the other offerings from other companies, you know that to drive a scanner and to drive the design software, you need quite a powerful computer as an extra. This scanner already has an i7 computer built in, 32 gig, can scan models, can scan impressions, articulators, everything that's scannable, it can scan. So there's no need for an extra piece of equipment, which is a significant cost saving, especially you guys, if you know how much your computer costs to drive your design software, you'll know how much you're going to save if this is your scanner. We have some software, and tonight what we're going to introduce to you is what we call our entry software, something that we've actually developed with one of our sister companies. And one of the things that we felt that controls the whole process and makes it very simple. We have our Cara 4.0 printer. It's a digital projection printer, very rapid. One denture or two dentures in under an hour, very quick. We also have the Cara Clean, Print Clean, and that's very, very important because we're handling isopropyl alcohol to clean these prints. And with this cleaner, we don't have to touch anything. We can simply transfer it from the printer directly into the cleaner. Once it comes out, it's all clean, there's no residue, And then we're using our highlight power to cure the resin. So that's the equipment. Also, we have our i500 intraoral scanner. And what's interesting about this system is that we are still able to utilize some of the older existing traditional methods for finishing, as well as the new. So what we're not doing is we're not going to discount the use of conventional processing at the end. We may scan, we may design, we may print a try-in, but we may at this point in time want to finish conventionally. It's an option, it's not a necessity, but we wanted to put that out there as an option, and we've developed a workflow that can allow you to do that. What does it all mean, this ABS, application-based solution? What you'll see tonight from our designs and manufacturers, that it's very, very easy to standardize, to repeat. Predictability, that means every person in the lab who designs and produces a denture using our system will produce exactly the same quality every single time. No technician difference from the very junior technician to the very senior technician, absolutely the same. Because it's recorded digitally, it's traceable, and it's a process where we can remake a denture very quickly if somebody loses it, always exactly the same. We had some feedback today about a case that we did for somebody, and they remarked that the fit was excellent. So the fit, form and function and aesthetics are all controlled by the software. There's no technician going to be able to change it. So it's perfection every single time. It involves capture, it involves design, manufacture, finish, and then some hands-on art, some skill that we also as technicians, because we're artists, we want to keep that in our occupation, particularly older people like myself who've got 10 years to go. We probably still think we can just keep doing it by hand. As we get more advanced materials and the younger generation, they'll probably be able to do this aesthetics through the computer. One of the differences for us is we have the How-To Academy. That means we have how-to guides for everything. How to maintain your equipment, how to capture in all different methods, every way possible. So if you want to take primary impressions and secondary impressions and bytes and then go digital, we have a workflow for it. We have a design system that helps you to achieve success from day one, where you can design a denture on the first day that is absolutely acceptable to be input into a patient's mouth. We have a more complex design process, which is expanded. Once you've got the hang of everything, that's a free-for-all, lots of applications, lots of fun to be had with that. Manufacturing, lots of different workflows. So manufacturing an immediate denture, fully printed all the way through. Manufacture of a digital denture that is flash packed and finished in PalletJet. Manufacture of a try-in base with printed teeth, with carded teeth. Lots of different how-tos. And the last part, education. Because the biggest letdown that I have experienced and experienced from customer feedback is the lack of education. And I don't think it's about the desire of the companies. I think here in Australia, we just don't have the people. So for us, what we've done is we partnered with the guys in America, and we've set our education platform up. We have digital education, so we have a tablet with all education on there, all the workflows. We have myself 24/7, and in our ABS system, we have a 20 CPD point allocation for the first 2 years for the customer, so that once you start working with the ABS system, you're not going to be left behind. You've got to be handheld and guided through every process. Not every lab's the same, so you may say, hey, I want to do this. We go away, we create a blueprint, and we come back with an education program for you so that you can then get your staff working and making sure that they learn everything that they need to know about the whole process. And then my computer decided not to play. Okay. So ABS is about partnership, it's about education, and it's about a journey. Transferring your business to a new generation like digital, it's not a short-term project. It takes commitment, and you have to realize you have to work every day. So it's a slow journey, but it's a good journey, and it can bring some good things to the business. It's about connectivity. So once we start connecting, we're connecting to other people, we're connecting to other groups and helping each other. You know, you can send a file to me, I can do something with it and send it back, and you can print it. Doesn't matter where you are. If you're in New Zealand and you have a problem with a file, you can email it to me, I can work on it, I can send it back, and vice versa, whatever. It's about connecting with like-minded people. The good thing about this ABS strategy, the solution-based way of doing things, is it's very easy to scale. So it's okay if you get something and you can do one little thing, and then how do you make it bigger if it's successful, or how do you downscale it? So with these workflows, they're very easy to scale from 6 dentures a week to 60 dentures a week. It's very easy to scale it up and maintain exactly the same outcomes. Peer-to-peer, so we're connected with each other in our ABS structure. The workflows are validated. That means all the equipment, all the materials have been given regulatory approvals. They're all validated. Internally here at Kulzer Australia, we've checked and triple checked them. We've tried to break it. We've tried to fix it. We've found better ways to do things. So everything we can show you, we've already done it. We've already learned from our own mistakes or our own successes. Support is something that's important to us because we know that it's very difficult to get support, and that's why we've brought this system forward, because we know that not only can we support you, but we have support as well. So we're not left out trying to scratch our head and wonder how we're going to do things. And service. So, you know, we're talking about, we have our hotline, so you can call the office and then somebody will direct your call and your inquiry to one of our specialists, and we'll try to fix the problem, or we'll fix the problem for you. So that's another thing that we're looking at, is how we can find some experts and use a service provision. So there may be something that you're not really wanting to do in your workflow because of circumstances or time. We might be able to offer a service for that. And one example is designing. Sometimes people say it's too complicated, I don't want to design, but I like the rest. So if I can find somebody to design and just send me the file, I can manufacture. So end to end, what we have is, we have all kinds of impression trays, standard pallet trays, models, intraoral scanners. We can do copy dentures. We have our desktop scanner, intraoral scanner. We have the in-house software and we have the web-based software. And we have our in-house or outsourcing possible manufacturing for printing. I put this slide in for an interesting fact that I was just looking around, because somebody asked me the question about how strong are your dentures. Well, they don't break, because when I went to a customer last week, I dropped them out of the car and they were fine. But I noticed on this Dima denture base, actually these figures are very, very similar to our conventional acrylic, nearly identical. And I did look yesterday at some figures on independent studies that this is somewhat like high impact acrylic. That's an interesting an interesting bit of information about the flexural modulus and the flexural strength. Okay, let's talk about the design software, Denture Design. Denture is part of the MCI group, which is the part also is Kulzer. It has the only web design platform that is available. You can access it anytime, anywhere. That might not mean a lot to some people, but people who are already doing some digital, you know that you're pretty much locked to that expensive computer. With Denture, you're not locked. Use your iPhone, use your tablet, Android, iPad, any laptop, any device, anywhere, on the train, on the plane, anywhere you are, you can do the design. It's de-identified, so the cloud storage of all your files for 5 years doesn't bring into any problems about ethics or patient confidentiality. And it's not for complex cases, but it can get fairly complex, but for single arch and for full and for full immediates and copy dentures, it's an excellent program. One of the good things is it has a built-in training resource for each step. So as you go to each step, you can actually click on a video and watch how to do it before you actually do it. And there is some service support, obviously, via email to Denture or to ourselves. And for those other people also who has already got digital, this will be good. No fee, no license fee. You only pay for what you manufacture. So you don't pay $10,000 and you're not using it. You will only pay when you produce a file. And if you want to practice, you can practice as many times as you want, no charge. So that's an excellent feature of the Denture design. But all our workflows also are aligned with some of the more popular companies that have established themselves already in Australia, which is 3Shape and Exocad. We don't really need to go into all the information about them. One of the main downside is the cost of the licensing and the complexity of the use. And I'm sure it's not a fault of the company, but limited customer service and support. And that's because it's new and there's not a lot of people with the experience to provide that kind of backup. So what can we do? In our system, what we can do, we can print a try-in and we can process it conventionally from impressions from bite blocks using everything standard, and produce a normal denture. So what we've done is we've kind of digitized the impressions or the models, and we've gone into digital and we've done the try-in, which one of the benefits of the digital try-in is that you can do anything like in a retry in about 1 minute, not half an hour. So we can make a premium denture this way. Now what we can do and what we're going to do tonight is an immediate denture, which also can be finished conventionally, or that can be finished as a print denture, as a temporary. I think from the groups on Facebook, the denture wearers, there's a lot of need for better immediate dentures and better patient care. Some of the big, the public health and the big DSOs, dental service organisations, they make some temporary denture and then the patient goes away. An immediate denture. Patient goes away and then they come back and reline it 2 or 3 times, and it looks like a jigsaw puzzle. With this system where we manufacture a temporary denture, we can come back in 6 months and make a real denture. And we haven't really outlaid very much from making a printed denture. So we had a proof of concept, and the goal was to see 60 dentures. And I'm going to not share this anymore because I'll share it at the end, because we're going to go and do a design. I'm just going to stop sharing this PowerPoint, and I'm going to share into scanning. Can I get in there? Okay, so All right, so you guys can see that now. So what we're going to do is we are going to scan a model, and I'll let you. I'll flick my camera on, so you might be able to. So I don't need. Can you guys see that scanning in the corner from my cam?
At the top.
Yeah. Or I can just.
The presentation's the main screen.
Yeah, I can just stop the video. I can stop sharing this bit. Okay. Okay, so I'm back. That's just my scanner. So what I've done is all I've done is I've placed the model onto the scanner. Okay, onto the platform. That's all I've done. It's very easy. It's not too complicated. And what I'm going to do is I'll share the scanning script, the software screen after. I'll just show you the model first, the upper. So I'm just going to scan. So once it's taken its photographs, I will share the screen with you. Okay. So now what it's done is it's actually taken 16 photographs and an initial scan, and it looks something like this. We then do a final scan, which it doesn't take any pictures, but it perfects the mesh. So it actually re-algorithms all the information that it's done, and it's like basically, it's like developing a photograph. So this doesn't take too long, about 1 minute. Now what we do is we will do this for the upper and for the lower. A bit of time on this because I want you guys to see that it really doesn't take a long time to actually make a denture, or to actually get a denture designed. The making of the denture is not your time, because it's done in a machine. Once you press go, you can go and do something else. So we're about 45. It takes about 2 minutes 30 for each scan to be completed. Well, we're coming up pretty good now. There's some tools in this software to let you to enhance your scan. So if there's pieces you want to cut out, or you want to check for holes, all different features. So there you go. So that's the actual model scanned into the computer. Now you'll see it's hollow because obviously it's only scanned the outside. The base was down on the platform. And we've got all this trash on the top, so we can have some cutting tools up here. I like the lasso, so I just cut what I don't want. It will change color to orange, and I'm going to delete it. Got a bit, this bit's out. Everybody finds their own ways. Everybody has a different way of doing it. Some people like to highlight the model and reverse the selection. Oh, sorry. It doesn't matter if you cut too much out, because there's a back tool. So if you'd actually damaged it, you could also go back through here and reverse what you've done. The other interesting tool is also that here we have a hole checker. So we can actually, check for holes, which will show up blue. And if there is any holes, which there isn't in this one, it will fill those holes with the very minimum amount of material so that you have no holes. So we scanned the upper. What we're going to do now is upload, which is save. So we're going to save that, and We're going to save that as an upper STL or upper, whatever you want to call it, Mrs. Jones upper, whatever you want to call it. I've already saved it and I've already done the lower. I like to show you how we do the bite. So the lower is exactly the same as the upper, but I want to show you the bite. So I'll de-share this again. We'll come back to the camera. So now you can see that the two models are on the platform, and you'll notice that this is white. So the scanner, most scanners will not pick up wax. They don't like wax because it's too shiny. So you have a choice. You can buy some product for $100 that will spray on like powder, or I found a product from the pharmacy that's for smelly feet, and it's a spray-on powder deodorant. It's $11, and it does exactly the same. It just sprays on flat. It makes a powdered surface, so the scanner can actually find that surface. So what we're going to do is we're going to scan the bite. Again, it's at 99 millimeters depth when it wants to play. And then the scanner will then scan. I'm not going to take all to do that scan, but it will take 16 pictures, exactly the same. Okay, so what we have now is a lot of information in this bite. So I'm just going to take this out when it stops, and I'll bring in the one that I already scanned before, so you can have a look, because it's important to understand what we're going to, how we're going to use the bite in conjunction with the models. So what we have, it basically is 3 scans: a scan of an upper, a scan of a lower, and a scan of the two held together by the bite block or whatever centric registration you're going to use. So what does it look like when it was scanned in? Okay, let's have a look. Okay, just hang on a second. Okay, so what does it look like? It looks like this. Okay, so bite blocks, models. So it's this is just what we scanned in, and you'll see I've got these dots. These are very important. These dots, they're just usually with a rose bar. They will help us to locate the two models together in a virtual articulation. Okay, so let's get out of here and let's do something fun, where we're going to go into Denture, and you will see how easy this really is. Okay, so let me find where I'm going to, and All right, so Denture's web-based. Here we have the home page. I have my account, Simon Ashworth. And what I'm going to do is, we're not going to go all the way through, but we'll go as far as we possibly can. I already did this case before. So let's start. So I just clicked on start a new case. So what it's asking me for is upper gum. That means it wants the upper model. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to browse my computer. I have upper. I'm going to open. It now asks me for lower. Sorry, next. It'll ask me for lower. I'll bring in the lower scan. Next, it'll ask me for the byte. And that's all the 3 files that it's going to ask you for. Whether it's a full, whatever it is, okay? The file's quite large, but that's okay. So I've got the 3 scans and I'm going to upload it. This takes a little bit of time. There's 2 parts where this process takes a little bit of time. It's when it first uploads the information, which you can watch because it's not that long. And secondly, when you actually do the final design, you will be waiting about 30 minutes. So you can do multiple designs and upload them and have them all coming back at different times. So whilst you're waiting for a file to finalize, you don't have to stop working. You can do another 10 designs in that time. It's not really a big drama, but it does take it takes about 30 to 40 minutes actually, and it depends on what, obviously where you are in the world and what time it is probably in America. So where the server's located, that's going to be, if it's busy, then it might take 40 minutes, but if it's not, it's usually about 30 minutes on average. So what it's doing at the moment is it's bringing in the models and the byte for me to give some information of what I want to do. It doesn't know anything. All it knows is that it's scanned in an upper model, a lower model, and right. Okay, so my scans are now in the system, and all I have to do is put the patient's initials. So Simon Ashworth and 007. Okay, patient is a male. This is the easy part. It's a complete denture. Is it an immediate? Yes, it is. What did you scan in? I scanned in models. Okay. What kind of tooth arrangement would you like? Now, when it's asking these questions, you see it's limiting you to mistakes so that everybody's going to be exactly the same. So you can't. It's cutting out the variances that can be problematic. So would you like class 1, class 2, or class 3? I'll go for class 1. What teeth would you like? Well, Kulzer, there are some other selections there that are probably not even available in Australia, but we do have Mondial and we have Mondial I, which is our premiums. We'll select Mondial. Now it's going to select the teeth that it thinks are right. You do have the option to change them later, but it will decide which ones. You can choose universal, square, or oval. I'm going to pick universal. It's a man, but I'll just go standard for this one. Now here's where your standardization repeatable job's going to come in. You've got a standard contouring, light contouring, which is recommended for an immediate denture, or strong festooning. So you've only got 3 choices, and every technician will only be able to choose from those choices. So your work will be standardized every time. I'm going to check that box, which is for immediate denture. And I already have a post dam, which I carved in the model. So I don't want to post dam. This is a new feature. I'm going to print and I'm going to have a crossbar for the lower. And my printer is a Cara printer. That's all the information that the computer needs to generate your basic file. What it's going to ask us next is to match. So what it wants to do is, it's saying, yes, Simon, you scanned in a byte, but we want to know, how do we virtually articulate this upper and this lower in mid-air with no byte block? And that's where these points come in. So very easy. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to match the lower. Exactly the same process. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now what it does, it's going to flick me a screen up, and it's good when you've got teeth because you can see if you're right. Are you right? Is your match? Yes. Correct. Yes, it is. So I can confirm that my match is the same as my byte. It's going to ask me to trim it now. So where do you want the denture to sit? So you've got your model. You're just going to outline where your denture's going to sit by double clicking on the mouse. Now, with a denture, every denture is adjusted and hand finished. So it's not like you're going to be 3D printing a rabbit or something that has to be exactly a copy of what you're doing, and it's going to be finished when it comes out. Dentures tend to need a little bit of special hand finishing, muscle trimming, that kind of thing. So you don't really need to pay massive attention to your trim. If your trim decides to go a little bit wonky like that, you can add a point just by double clicking on the line, and then when it's red, you just move it out to the border. That's it. And we trim the lower real quick. Exactly the same. If you want to spend a bit more time, you can go around the frenums. One of the features in this scanner is going to be that we'll be able to draw lines soon and be able to follow a predicted outline. At the moment, it doesn't pick up that, but it is in the, I have assurances that it's coming by customer demand. So you'll be able to draw an outline if you like in pencil and follow that exactly with your profile. If you got a bit wonky here, you can just come in, pull it out. That's fine. Everything's good. So that's your trim. So that's going to be the base plate. And it's going to ask you again, are you happy with that? Is that what you want it to look like? Yes. Well, we're doing an immediate. So now we'll become a bit of a dentist. We're going to do extractions. So we just click around. It allows us 6 attempts. That means if we've got teeth in different areas, like this one's not too bad because they're all in one section, but they could be over here and one on the other side. So you're allowed to have six areas for extraction. We just go around. It's I'm going to extract the lower. It's just double clicking with the mouse and just creating a line. If you do a few of these dentures and you have to insert them, initially they'll be too loose or not enough, or the dentist's going to insert them for you. You just get some feedback and just either do less or more extraction when you're doing this stage. That's it. We've extracted all the teeth. It's now going to ask us for the landmarks. So what we want is we want an incisal papilla that I put in the wrong place. So over here we can clear that. I'm just going to bring it in just inside there, and then tuberosities. Lower landmarks are retromolar, and send it away for verification. So it's just going to ask you now checklist. Everything that we asked for is on that checklist. We're all good to go. It's just going through what you selected as your options. Okay, so now it's going to take, probably will take about 4 minutes. Did we have any questions that we could answer in those while we're waiting for that to come back?
If you want to write your question down on the chat section, and then I can relay it to Simon, so we don't have many questions at once.
So does anybody have any question?
Nothing's come up yet. Seems like it's all clear. What do you mean, Simon, when you refer to 99mm scan depth from, from Brent?
Okay, so when you are scanning for a denture, it gives you a depth of the scanner from the scanner of 99mm. That means, so if you've got a very deep palate, you'll be able to get right down into the palate from the actual face of the scanner. So the more shallower, so it's set at 22mm. So that's very good for, say, Crown and Bridge, where your model's going to be a lot, or your prep's going to be a lot closer to the scanner. But when you want to scan into a palate or into a sulcus, you need a lot more depth from the scanner to get down into those palates. So we use 99 as a default because we know it's the maximum amount that it can go to. So pretty much, if it can't go to 99mm, we do have an extension to the scanning arm that comes with the scanner, and that will allow it to go up. I think it's 20 mils. So if 99 is not deep, so you'd have to have a very, very deep palate. So what it means is basically that's how far it can scan from the actual scanner. So it's got a depth of 99mm.
Next question. Can you please explain, if you have a full-on-full clearance, can you open the bite before giving the instruction of removing all teeth?
No, but we can open the bite. So we'll do that in the next stage. I'll show you how the vertical dimension. So if in a full immediate, okay, so here we go, it's coming. So in a full immediate, if you needed to increase the vertical dimension by 2mm, we can do that in this next stage. So what happens is we're just going to verify that. Yes, we're all good. Okay, so what we've got now is we have the models, bite blocks, everything in place. And what it's asking us to do is, can we please set the occlusal plane? So we have a few ways of doing that. So we have the rotating wheels, which send it this way, that way, and at the top, we'll send the midline. We can set the midline. So what I've pressed is, I've actually got highlighted here white, rotate, which is hit the shift key, and highlight which one I want to do. So if I want to go to move, I'll just make that a bit smaller. Move will allow me to move. You can see move is white. So that means I can move the occlusal plane up and down. If I want to rotate it with these wheels, so if I want to change the occlusal plane, I can just tilt it a little bit. I've got the midline. I'm pretty happy with that tilt, but I need to lift it. So I'll lift now. I'm going to lift it back up to the height, and I'm going to say, yes, I'm good. Now it's just going to tell me here what teeth. Okay, so this is quite interesting because I've done this job now 4 times, and each time it's picked 4 4/9s and 3 6/2. So it's the matching must be pretty accurate each time. It's picking exactly the same teeth each time. Okay, so it's now picked the teeth for me, and it's going to bring in a visual of the actual teeth, how they're set up, what's going to basically look like. So there we have it. There's our denture design, and really the only thing I would do here is, and I'll go through some of the features, but the first thing I always do is, one, because I'm a technician and I'm looking for certain things, so I'm looking at the teeth over the ridge. So what I want to do is I'm worried about the lowers. So on this side, I have visibility, so I can take out. So there I just I take out the occlusal plane, I take out the upper gum, and I take out the upper teeth. And then what I want to do is flip this around until I can actually see, are my lower teeth over the ridge? Now you can see here, these 2 teeth, and I've done it, it's exactly the same as happened before. These 2 teeth are a little bit in. So you can move the teeth, and whatever you do, it will modify the upper. So this, from here to here, in this case, it's pretty accurate. The teeth are over the ridge. I'm happy with that. How do I change these teeth? Okay, down the bottom, there are some selection groups. When you click on that, it will allow you to move a group of teeth. So all the teeth, the anteriors, so what's in green, the upper anteriors, the lower anteriors, all posteriors, one side, the other side. So if I want to move this group, I can move it as a whole group in and out wherever I like. Not only can I move it in and out, but I can move it up and down. Okay, so I can move it wherever I like. But what in this case, what I wanted to do, because it's about there, I just wanted to move these 2. That's all I'm interested in. So what I can click on is I can click on the icon here which says single tooth. Okay, so what that does is that allows me, when I've clicked on this icon here, it allows me to move 1 tooth at a time. I double click on the tooth and it highlights, and I can move that tooth out. I can also, by doing the rotate, I can also, if I wanted to, I can click on the rotate and I can move a tooth in 3 different ways. So in at the neck, out at the neck, into the lingual, all different ways of moving the teeth. But I only wanted to just move those 2 out of the onto a bit more onto the ridge. So what I can do is I can bring everything back in. I can bring the plane, I can bring the upper, I can bring the upper teeth. I can have a look at it with the occlusal plane. I'm happy with it. Somebody asked, what if I want to open the vertical dimension however many mils? Okay, so the vertical dimension is at 0, which is the vertical dimension that was set by the teeth and the bite blocks. If I want to increase it or decrease it, I can do that with this slider. If you find that the slider is a bit sensitive and you're not really 100% with it, what you can do is you can somewhere here somewhere you can just write in how much you want to change. Like, I want to change the vertical dimension by 2 millimeters, and it will change it. If you want to change the teeth, obviously these are easy. They're just, do you want to change the teeth? You can change them to whatever mold you like. If you wanted it to be a bit more triangular, it's something that you play with. The other interesting fact here, and I'll show you this just because you can bring the models back in. This is really interesting when you do a copy denture, because you can use the copy denture as the bite blocks, and you can bring them in using this feature, and then you can move the teeth to shadow the best match to your denture. So when you get the best match, you'll see that the teeth are full and they'll match the original denture. So that's a good feature that you can actually, even if they're different molds, you can get it to look nearly exactly the same. So that's a good feature. So that's it. That's the denture is actually designed. Now what's going to happen here is you are going to submit this now for a final. First of all, we'll agree that everything's good how we wanted it. We're going to submit it then to Denture, and they are going to, I'm just going to fix my other camera. They're going to then finalize your your denture. Now that will take around about 40 minutes. So this is the same denture. So what will happen is in 40 minutes or 30 minutes, what's going to come back to you for your, yes, I'm happy with it. That's all we've done. We finished, the design's finished. That's all the design process completed. What we're going to get back from Denture is this. Full immediate, ready for manufacturing. That's it. And then what they will ask us is, just go back. What they will they'll send you that to have a look at, but what else will come is this. All the manufacturing files that you need to make your denture. So we'll speed through this a little bit because I want to show the denture manufacture. So let's see what we're going to do. So what you'll get back is, let's say we want to do, we'll just do the upper denture. So we double click on the upper denture. And I'm going to, once I've done that, just let me, I have to reshare. Okay. So what I'm going to do is stop sharing that, and I'll share this. Okay, so then once we've double clicked on that file, we end up with, in the Cara print cam. So this is your denture base that Denture's made for you without the teeth in place. The teeth are in a separate file, or if you want to try in, it's all in one. There's a lot of files there for different applications. So one's a try-in, one's a base, one's a teeth. We can just quickly do that. To print this, what we're going to need to do is to support it. So we need to orientate it. So we're going to orientate it by setting it roughly about about 60 degrees is good. Okay, you can see down this corner at 68 degrees, and we need to support it. We can get 2 dentures on each one. I'm not going to do that because we won't have enough time. I can show it you. So what we've done is we set this base at 68 degrees. We can get a full on this platform. Supports. So we're going to go to supports, and we're going to add some supports to support the print. And you'll see a green dot. That's where it likes you to put the supports. You can change these supports to all different types. We even have a feature where it's automatic supports. Hopefully a time-saving process in the next generation of CAM will be that what you do on one side will automatically be done on the other side. So that will save a little bit of time. So those are denture supported. You can see here some figures. It tells you, it's a 25% cone at the top. It's 1 millimeter connection radius, 3 millimeter cone length. We have some set parameters. You can play with it, but the set parameters work. I'm going to come along a little bit along here also to do. Some people like to have what we call a peel foundation. I'm really not a big fan of the peel foundation as a whole, but it is a good tool, and that means it helps you to peel this off. So what you can do is go to modify and just click on one support and change the bottom from a cylinder to a peel foundation. And if you want, you can just do 2. And that helps you to pick it off the platform because it's like lifted up a little bit and you've got a little bit of a grip. Once we've done the supports, we're going to slice it. And what that means is that slicing then is telling creating a printing file, a manufacturing file, slice by slice, 500 slices or 1,000 slices, and that tells the printer what's on each print slice. So once we've done that, we can then transfer it to the printer. To get it to the printer, it can be sent from this computer directly to the printer, or it can be transferred on a USB. So when we've done that and we've printed, and just because of time, like in a 1 hour or so webinar, it's hard to get everything in because I really wanted to show you the design and how easy it was to design, and also how easy it is to build. So printing, maybe another webinar of how we go through the print process, but essentially it's set like this. It's sliced, it's saved, sent to the printer, and the printer will do everything for you. You don't do anything else after that. So once you've got your design back from Denture, you just basically support it, slice it, and send it to the printer. So let's see if we can come back to this camera.
Couple of questions, Simon, while you're doing that.
Yeah.
Does the 40 minutes depend on power to the PC? Complete to Denture?
Yeah, it's not really power to the PC. It's about your internet connection and how busy the server is. So, if it's busy, obviously that's an issue.
So that's a standard time, right? 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's usually 30 minutes, but sometimes it can be 40. But it doesn't stop you from obviously doing something else or even designing more designs. So if you wanted to, you could do your designs in the afternoon and download them and then leave them overnight, coming back to you for the next day. There's no issue. They come back every 30 to 40 minutes.
And one other question, can one mix their shades of teeth or molds?
Say that again.
Can one mix the shades of teeth or molds? May not have been written fully.
Yeah. So you can mix the molds as in such that you can change. You can't intermix the molds. So if you're using 449s, can't use 450 canines. And the rest, so you can't take 2 canines out of one set and put it in another set. Okay, so in Denture, you can't morph the teeth. It's a set. It's either 450s, 449s, 510s. It's a set of teeth. That's it. You can change. You can use the whole Mondial range of anteriors, upper and lowers, and the whole range of posteriors. So you can change it to whatever size you want: 29s, 31s. 33s, 35s, anything that you want. But you can't put a 35 6 and a 32 premolar. Okay, so you're limited to, you can't, in the more complex, or in our other software, which is much more complex and for the advanced user, you can change the shape and size of the teeth that you print. Okay, so you can morph the teeth into anything that you want. But obviously our teeth are pre-manufactured, so you can't morph the Mondials if you're going to use carded teeth. Only if you do printed teeth. So let's have a look at what the options are for assembling a printed denture, either as a fully printed final denture or as a try-in to be converted to acrylic. So once the print process is finished, you will have your printed denture with the supports still in place and been cured for 6 seconds just to make sure that it's actually quite firm. The teeth, they're printed separately, and you can see they also have supports. Those supports are easily just broken off with your fingers, and if necessary you can trim a little bit with your handpiece. So basically the teeth come off. So once we've got the teeth and they have the supports removed, we want to attach them to the denture base. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some of the print liquid, and I've placed some in there already, but what we're going to do is we're just going to place some of the resin into each individual tooth socket, and the teeth match those sockets due to the fact that our files are the manufacturing files that we manufacture our carded teeth. So printed or carded, they all fit the sockets extremely well. We just add that liquid into each individual socket, and then the teeth in any order can be easily placed into the sockets like so. And that can go for a cure for 6 seconds, and the denture is all assembled. We'll bring it back in the lab. We'd bring it back, fill in any discrepancies or how we want to fill it on the lingual before we do the final process. And once we've done that process, we can wonder what will this denture look like when we've actually finished it. So here's a final denture with the teeth cured and put into position, and is now ready for the full cure process, which is 20 minutes in glycerol. We use glycerol because glycerol stops the oxidization layer and allows us to then have a very hard final cure surface. So that's the fully printed denture. So what if we wanted to use this base and convert it to an acrylic denture? So use the printed base with carded teeth as a try-in. Very simple. We can wax those teeth into position, and that can be done very quickly. So it's a reasonably standard try-in with the teeth, just the carded teeth just waxed into position. Okay, so what we can do with that is very easily we just take the carded teeth and we're going to place them into the denture base like so. Like so. We just put them into the denture base, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to take some wax on the electric wax knife. We're just going to take some wax and we're just going to loop those teeth into position. And there we have a try-in. I went around the rest of it with a Lacron once the wax has cooled. So then I have my full try-in that's now ready to go into the patient's mouth. I can place a wash impression into this base, and obviously I'll take that support bar out, but I can do a wash impression in the bases, and I can flask it up and use putty. The teeth will remain in the base, and I can pack or inject conventional acrylic, and I end up with exactly the same denture as I'm doing now, but I brought it into the digital world and I've made a permanent denture. I've saved myself a lot of time by doing the try-in digitally. For those of you who want to upscale it a little bit, I've done another one where I've actually spent a little bit more time and festooned, stippled and tried to improve on the standard finish. So it's just another way of working with make it a bit more of a premium denture. So still a printed base, carded teeth, and just a little bit more time spent with that electric wax knife so that you can see just a little bit nicer detail. And that's ready also for a try-in and or for a final, and with a wash impression and into the flask with putty, and we'll have a look at that once that's finalized. So we finalized the printed version of the full, and I think we've got a pretty good result. A nice looking denture that's hygienic, clean, looks just like a denture should. And also what we did is we took the time to produce the hand finished from a print, so print pack. So the print pack version is in Pala Extreme, and just basically the same base plate as we originally had, with that extra bit of wax up just to enhance the aesthetics a little bit. So we can turn that around, and apart from that everything else is exactly the same. So we basically wax those teeth in, and there we have our full immediate printed and print pack. Those are just a couple of the options that you have with the Kulzer Denture system. Hope that has been interesting for you, and let's just finish up now with the final bit of the presentation. So 2 completed jobs, standard, repeatable, everybody in the lab makes the same job. So I think that a lot of patients want to see acrylic, and I think a lot of technicians want that. I think they're a bit concerned sometimes about print, which they don't need to be. But yeah, I think some people want that option to be able to go back to the traditional. What you've done is you've captured, you've saved yourself time in design, you've standardized your workflow, especially if you're a big organization and you've got 20 technicians. Well, every technician is doing exactly the same job. So the challenge is out there that if every technician did this immediate, it would always come back exactly the same. Before we have any questions, one of the things I also want to share with you is that in the beginning, because every time I go somewhere, people say, "Si, does it really work?" And that's the question I get asked every single time. They want to ask me, does it really work? Because most people on here, I know them. Yeah, I'm a clinician, I'm a prosthetist, I'm a technician. I have been since I left school. And it works. And one of the things that I can say to you is that I'm going to just share this with you again. Let's go to share. Okay, so we had our proof of concept. So the proof of concept for a large organization with over 800 dental practices was to prove that we could put 60 arches in and that those arches would be successful, which was good because we actually achieved 237. So we know it works. It's very, very simple to use. It's easy to learn in one day. Most of you guys know Jason Gallagher. Jason and I work close together because we work remotely, basically northern New South Wales and Queensland. And we've been to customers who've never done this before. And they sent us a case, and the week before we've made it, and on the day we go there and we don't even do it ourselves. We get their employee to do it. And we know that their employees have actually done exactly the same as we did. So we know that it is possible for you to learn it basically in a day. And that's really important because, you know, some of the more complex softwares, it's really difficult to learn and to get a good result. I think with the Denture system, for the person who's coming into digital, to get a good result straight away, build your confidence. It makes you more interested in digital. And there's also just, let me just see if we can find one other thing that I wanted to show you, which is that it's not just at the moment. Yes, we are, you know, we're just doing full dentures. That's true. On Denture, we can only do full dentures, immediate copy dentures. But let me tell you and share with you that that's not all. So what we're getting is very soon is mouth guards, sleep apneas, splints, and model in exactly the same format as we have just seen for dentures, where you ask some questions, you fill some in, very basic, very easy to do. So that's something to look forward to. I think also partial dentures will come eventually in the same format, in that same basic, easy to do format. I can see some people's pictures, and I know some people have already done some digital and had some successes and also some trials and tribulations. I can promise you that I have had exactly the same. I was on software a month or so ago. I was on another software for a whole day trying to do something, which I've been working with it for 3 years. I spent a whole day trying to work something out. I got onto to Germany, and they said, "Oh, it can't do that." So it's good that if we have something simple that we can get into and that we can actually get a success from. I hope it's you've seen how easy it is, and please feel free to contact the office. I think you might have an email of the info email address, and please contact the office. Sorry, wrong one. Contact the office and talk to us about coming out and demonstrating it to you, showing you what it's about, and you actually having a go at it, because you will be really surprised on how easy it is to do. I know it's a lot to compact in 1 hour, but...
Couple of questions, Simon.
Yeah.
Regarding the carded teeth.
Moment, in Denture, the teeth can't be adjusted if they're carded teeth within the software. Okay, so there's no room in Denture, because Denture is an entry level, so there's no room for a vertical dimension modification. However, there is workarounds on it. So the workarounds are that in our other software, which is a bit more advanced, and I'm suggesting that if you are wanting to do that type of work, you need to have a little bit of experience. So Denture is going to get you that experience in the first instance. But in our next level software, there is a cutback jig. So what happens is it will automatically generate a cutback jig file. So you place the carded teeth in, turn that upside down, and whatever's sticking through gets cut away by your own hand, and then those teeth will fit. So Denture doesn't have that, but what I'm saying is if you're going to that level and you've got some experience, you can use our upgraded software, which actually does have that cutback. And if you're, which I'm sure all these people are, good technicians, there's another way to do it where you can modify the base of the denture and cut the teeth back yourself. So there is a couple of manual ways round, or the digital way round is to use the second level software.
And another question.
Basically said that it's not really a good option. We just make a new denture. So for a reline, you just wouldn't be viable to reline it. It's much easier to make a brand new denture, because again, remember, it's repeatable. Once you've designed it and stored it, you have it. Repairs, it'll repair with its own resin, or it'll repair with standard cold cure resin. Special thanks to my good friend, partner, trainer from Asia, Felix. Thanks for joining. And also I see that one of my mentors, Menno Pop from a rival company, but the best of friends, is online. So thanks, Menno, for joining. And Joyce Ong from QS Dental in Malaysia, and one of my longtime friends and supporters of our training overseas. Thank you for them. I can only see a few people, but everybody who's joined, we really appreciate the opportunity for us to present this to you. 100%, I can promise you that I have spent the whole COVID year. This is my house. I've got my own section here, all officed up with every bit of Kulzer equipment, and I've gone berserko. I've got like 10 computers. Really got all these workflows working really well. And we just want to get out there and let people put it to the test. Again, and again, like, because it's so simple, I feel that it's a good way to move into it and just feel really confident straight away. And we're developing, so we're bringing new stuff online all the time. You know, new printers, new generation of liquids. So everything's always ongoing. And I saw the question there from Pete Dunlop at Calandra. I think there is a CPD for this training.
Yes.
So have a go. It is difficult on a webinar, but seriously, like the few customers that we've been to, they've had a look at it, and I think they're quite impressed with what it can actually do. From just standing start, you know, straight away, first day, by 12 o'clock, you're already making a denture exactly the same as what I can make it. All right, that's all I've got to say. Thank you very much.